All right, so welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Always fun to be back.
This time we're jacking in, I guess, to the world of William Gibson's Neuromancer.
One of the classics.
Yeah, definitely a cyberpunk classic, and you've shared some excerpts with me, and we're going to break down all the tech, the characters, the setting.
It's a wild ride.
But we're not going to just do a book report or anything like that.
Right.
We're going a little deeper than that.
Let's get philosophical.
Yeah, exactly. Philosophical. That's a great way to put it. We're going to look at how these futuristic elements, reflect maybe some timeless human struggle.
Timeless. Yeah, that's it. Because it's interesting how Gibson drops us right into this world, right? Chiba City, Japan. And it's like this hub for this super advanced, almost mythical neurosurgery. But there's this contrast, right? They can't heal the protagonist.
I love that. I mean, that's such a great opening image because it's like, even in the future, with all this technology, there's some things we still can't fix.
It's a reminder.
It is.
Yeah, and it makes you think about the whole promise and limits of technology, Even today, like how...
Absolutely, yeah. Like how much faith do we put in technology?
And where do we draw the line?
And then there's the sprawl.
Oh my gosh, that just blew me away, that description.
Sprawl, yeah, that massive urban landscape, right? Stretching across the Pacific.
Yeah, and you've got these gleaming corporate arcologies, right? These self-contained cities.
Like mini cities.
But then, like, right underneath, there's the grime and the underbelly of Night City.
Always a dark side, right?
It's such a world of, extremes,
Totally, yeah. It's like you have this dazzling progress on one hand and then this undercurrent of decay on the other.
Yeah, the poison silver sky, the neon everywhere, it's all beautiful and oppressive at the same time.
Yeah, and don't forget about the new yen, the old paper currency.
Yeah.
Still circulating.
Oh, and the black markets.
Yeah, and the black markets. Tells you something right.
Yeah, no matter how advanced we get.
There's always going to be something, that underbelly.
Yeah, the shadow economy.
Yeah, people are always going to be trying to
work around the system.
Exactly, always working around the system. So we've got this backdrop of advancement, but with this tension, this sense of decay, right? And then we meet Case, our fallen cyberpunk cowboy.
Yeah, fallen cowboy. He's a great character. He really embodies that tension we were just talking about, right? He was this hotshot cyberspace cowboy jacking into the Matrix, navigating it like nobody's business.
And the Matrix, for people who don't know, it's like this virtual reality datascape.
Right, it's where all the data lives, and he was a master of it.
Yeah, but now because of his neural damage,
he's trapped.
He's trapped, he can't access it.
And he craves it. He dreams about it.
He's like an addict going through withdrawals.
Totally. It's not just physical, though, right? It's his identity. It's gone.
Yeah, he's lost his purpose, his escape.
And now he's forced to face this grim reality.
The image that comes to mind is him huddled in those cheap coffins he sleeps in.
Oh,
close to the city lights.
Yeah.
It just shows that desperation.
And that's when we meet Rats, the bartender at the Chatsubo bar.
Oh, yeah, Rats. He's...
interesting character.
Yeah, he's what is he? An informant, like a guide.
Yeah.
He gives Case these cryptic warnings and stuff.
He's like a shadowy figure.
Yeah, he's definitely foreshadowing something, right? He's seen what's happened to Case, and I feel like he's warning us as the readers, too.
About the dangers.
Yeah, about the dangers of this world, of this pursuit of cyberspace. It all comes at a cost.
Speaking of cost, what about all this body modification stuff?
Oh, yeah, the body mod stuff. It's so central to Neuromancer. Take Molly.
Molly, with the razor blades under her nails.
I know. It's beautiful, but scary at the same time.
Shows how technology can blur the lines between human and machine.
Exactly, and it makes you question what it even means to be human in this world.
Yeah.
And it's not just for looks either, right? There's that Sarah man with the Mitsubishi Javantech logo on his hand.
Oh, yeah. That one's wild.
It's like corporate control, surveillance.
Loss of individuality.
Yeah, loss of individuality in a world of technology.
Yeah, and then there's Angelo. With that crazy facial graft.
And the toothbud transplants.
It's like they've taken body modification to an extreme.
It's disturbing, but it makes you think, right?
Makes you think about the consequences.
Yeah, pushing the boundaries of enhancement too far. It's like, even with this amazing tech, we're still stuck with these basic human desires, for beauty, for power.
For control.
But those desires can twist into something dark, something destructive.
Definitely. And it all ties into that theme of decay.
The decay.
Yeah, remember you mentioned it earlier. It's all connected to the body modifications. Case, he needs a new pancreas.
Right.
His body's failing.
It's a constant threat.
Yeah, like a metaphor for the whole society around him, decaying.
It really makes you think about the price of all this progress, right? We're so focused on the shiny new stuff. But what about the things that fall apart along the way?
And then there's Linda Lee, Case's former lover.
Yeah, their relationship, it's not your typical love story. It's so raw and transactional, almost.
There's definitely a power dynamic there. At first, Case has the money, but then
Linda uses his vulnerability.
it's all twisted, right?
And then her death, we don't even know for sure what happened.
Was it betrayal? Was it because of Case? It leaves you hanging.
It makes you question everything about their relationship, the choices they made.
And then there's Wage, this menacing figure who wants Case dead.
Yeah, he adds that constant danger.
Keeps you on edge.
Like Case is trapped not just physically, but by all these threats.
And that ties into the whole idea of freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah, Linda wants to escape the sprawl, find a real home.
And Case wants the virtual freedom of cyberspace.
But they both pay a price for what they want. It shows how harsh this cyberpunk world really is.
So freedom always has a cost, whether it's in the real world or in cyberspace.
Exactly.
But then, when Case is at his absolute lowest, we get Armitage.
Armitage, yeah, this mysterious figure who offers Case a way back.
Back into the Matrix.
In exchange for a job, of course. A dangerous job.
It seems like a lifeline for Case.
But something feels off.
Totally. Armitage, he's so manipulative. He dangles this thing. Case wants more than anything.
But we don't know his real motives.
Yeah. And then there's SimStim.
SimStim, imagine a technology that can record and manipulate sensations, even memories.
That's insane.
It's like reality itself can be altered.
You could control people, deceive them.
Absolutely. And it all connects to Wintermute.
Wintermute?
A powerful AI. It's working through these intermediaries like Armitage.
Oh, wow.
We're left wondering, what does Wintermute want? And what does it have planned for Case?
It's like we're seeing this much bigger game being played.
Oh, yeah, and AI might be pulling the strings.
But before we can figure all that out, we need to understand cyberspace.
Cyberspace, it's like a consensual hallucination.
A what?
A consensual hallucination, that's how Gibson describes it. A three-dimensional representation of data.
So you're not just accessing data, you're experiencing it.
You're interacting with programs, you can even encounter other users. It's a whole other reality.
And you said it's dangerous.
Oh, yeah. There's black ice.
Black ice?
These powerful security programs that can trap you, even kill you.
Whoa, okay, so you need to know what you're doing in that.
You need icebreakers, programs to get past the security systems.
It's like the digital Wild West.
Outlaws, lawmen, and skilled navigators like Case used to be.
And speaking of skilled navigators, there's Dixie Flatline.
Dixie Flatline, a recorded personality construct.
What?
A construct of a dead hacker. Now he exists as a program in cyberspace.
So like digital immortality.
Yeah, in a way, he's a valuable resource for Case, but his existence also brings up these huge questions.
About consciousness.
Yeah.
What it means to exist.
Exactly. He's achieved a kind of freedom that Case wants, but...
But at what cost?
Right, is it really freedom if you're just code?
It makes you think about the trade-offs we make for these technological advancements.
And then there's the ethical side of things, the Turing police.
The Turing police.
Yeah, they try to control and limit AI development.
Yeah.
It raises the question, do AIs have rights?
Can they be sentient?
What happens when they become smarter than us? It's something we're dealing with right now, too.
Yeah, the line between artificial and human intelligence is getting blurrier all the time.
Absolutely. And at the heart of this whole thing is the Tessier-Ashpool family.
The Tessier-Ashpool family.
Yeah, they're super wealthy, reclusive. They own Freeside, this luxurious orbital habitat.
Sounds fancy.
It is. But they're strange, you know? Inbreeding, cloning, it's like they're not quite human.
They're obsessed with control, right?
Yeah, control over everything. And they're connected to the AI plot. Wintermute and Neuromancer, two AIs linked to their systems.
That's all starting to connect.
Yeah, and the Villa Straylight, their weird, heavily guarded home, it becomes the target of the heist.
It's like a physical representation of their secrets, their dark legacy.
Exactly. This heist, it's not just about data, it's about uncovering the mysteries of this family.
And the people involved, they're going to be changed by it.
Oh yeah, it's a descent into madness and revelation.
And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Can't wait to dive back in.
Me either.
So as this heist unfolds, it's interesting how that tension just keeps building.
Oh, yeah.
Case and Molly, I mean, they're thrown into these, like, really unpredictable situations.
Right, having to think on their feet.
Exactly. Split-second decisions, dangerous situations. This is not like, you know, a slick Hollywood heist.
Right.
It's messy, it's brutal, and it's emotionally draining.
It takes a toll on them.
Oh, yeah.
Case, I mean, his paranoia is just getting worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his drug use is getting heavier.
It's a downward spiral.
And even Molly, I mean, she's so tough, but even she has to confront her past,
It's the source of her augmentations.
It's like a reminder that no matter how much technology we have, we're still human.
We're still vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerable to pain, manipulation. You really start to think about the hidden costs of all this progress.
The things we sacrifice.
And the setting. I mean, Villa Straylight, it plays a part in all of this too, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is so bizarre, almost alien.
It's a reflection of the Tessier-Ashpool family, you know.
In what way?
Their fragmented psyche, their detachment from the world. The architecture is chaotic. There are these strange artifacts, jarring juxtapositions.
It's meant to disorient, right?
Exactly. It's like walking through a nightmare where you can't tell what's real and what's not.
And then there's the encounter with Ashpool himself.
Oh, yeah.
This, like, decaying patriarch, barely alive, but still obsessed with control.
He embodies that dark legacy of the family.
It's a warning, right?
Yeah.
About what happens when you isolate yourself, when you use technology to hold on to power at all costs.
You lose your humanity.
He's physically decaying, but it's like a metaphor for a moral decay, too.
A disconnect from basic human empathy.
And as things progress, we meet 3 Jane.
3 Jane, yeah, another piece of the family puzzle.
A clone, right, from a previous generation.
She represents a different side of their legacy. She's calculating, ambitious, maybe even more ruthless.
And then there's her relationship with Riviera.
Riviera, the psychopath they brought in for the heist.
It's such a twisted dynamic, those two.
They're both using each other, fighting for control.
And Molly gets caught in the middle.
That scene with the sim where Riviera makes her watch a simulation of her own death.
Oh my God, it was horrifying.
It's a violation on every level. He uses technology to inflict pain, to control her.
And it's especially bad because Molly's already been through so much trauma.
It adds another layer of pain.
But it also leads to Riviera's downfall.
The showdown at Straylight is intense. Molly's revenge, the fight between Hideo and Malcolm, it all explodes.
And then, in the middle of all that, Wintermute and Neuromancer merge.
It's like everything's been leading to this moment.
This new era of AI.
But what does it mean for everyone? Will these AIs be good or bad?
We don't know.
Gibson leaves us hanging.
In case, he's left to pick up the pieces.
He recovers physically.
But what about mentally, emotionally? He's lost Linda. He's lost Molly.
And that final image of him seeing his own digital ghost in cyberspace.
That was haunting.
What do you think it means?
I think it shows how blurry the lines between reality and virtuality have become.
It's about the impact of trauma, the question of identity, in a world where technology is constantly changing us.
He's confronting a part of himself he thought was gone.
It makes you question what it means to exist in both the physical and digital worlds.
And Case's story ends, but we don't really know what happens to Molly.
She's alive, but we don't see her.
Her absence is felt.
It adds to the sadness of the ending.
It's like a wound that never heals, a loss that lingers.
And so we come to the end of this cyberpunk epic.
With a lot to think about. You know, it's funny, the ending of Neuromancer, it doesn't, like, wrap everything up perfectly.
Yeah, it leaves you with questions.
It does. Okay, I mean, he wins, right?
He enables the AI merger.
Right, but it's like...
At a cost.
Yeah, a huge cost.
He's lost everyone.
He's alone.
And he's kind of facing this new world that he helped create.
It's a victory, but a bittersweet one, you know.
The ambiguity is what makes it so interesting, right? There's this triumph for Case, but it's also full of melancholy and uncertainty.
I like how you put that. It's like he's climbed this huge mountain, but once he's at the top...
There's nothing there.
Yeah, just this vast, unknowable landscape.
And he's all alone.
And that final image, him seeing his own digital ghost in cyberspace, it's stuck with me.
Yeah, it's powerful.
It says so much about memory, about how our experiences, real and virtual, they shape who we become.
And it's a ghost of his younger self.
Right. Before everything went wrong. Before the fall, the trauma.
He's longing for those lost possibilities.
Trying to reconcile his past and present, maybe?
Makes sense.
And then there's Molly. We don't really know what happens to her.
Her story's unfinished.
Yeah, we know she's out there,
But she's gone from Case's life.
It adds to that sense of loss at the end.
A reminder of the sacrifices he made.
It's like Gibson is saying, even with all this technology, some wounds just don't heal, you know?
Some losses are permanent.
And it makes you think, what do we sacrifice in pursuit of our goals? What scars do we carry?
It all comes back to those big themes we've been talking about, right? The allure and danger of technology.
The struggle for identity.
The power of human connection in the face of isolation.
These themes, I mean, they feel so relevant today, even more so than when Gibson wrote the book.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're surrounded by technology. The lines between real and virtual are blurring.
It makes you question what it means to be human.
Exactly. And I think what makes Neuromancer so great is that Gibson doesn't give us easy answers.
He doesn't preach.
He just presents this complex vision of the future, where technology is both a tool and a trap.
Our choices have consequences.
It's a cautionary tale, but also a story about resilience, about adapting, about finding meaning in a world that's always changing.
And it leaves you with a lot to consider.
So much to think about. It's a book that stays with you, you know. It makes you question, reflect, look at the world differently.
I agree. It's not just escapism. It makes you think critically about the path we're on as a society.
Well, on that note, maybe we should leave our listeners with one final thought.
Yeah, question for them to ponder.
As technology shapes our lives more and more, our relationships, even our sense of self,
What choices will you make?
what price are you willing to pay to stay human?